Hello everyone, and welcome to the start of my Satisfactory Update 6 playthrough. Update 6 adds a whole new area called the Spire Coast, as well as a whole slew of new features related to exploration, which we will definitely be taking advantage of. And while the Spire Coast has a few resources such as oil, it isn't exactly the most starter base friendly area, which is why I will be starting the playthrough in the Dune Desert, which is right next to it. So without further ado, let's get right into the playthrough. Okay. We are in our new world. Very experimental build, obviously. I do have the pack utility mod just for some... I want to do some camera shots. I skipped the onboarding because probably have seen that already. We're just going to try to get to over there since our start in the Dune Desert is very dependent on biomass. And biomass is something that isn't too hard to come by in this area, but is definitely one of the harder areas in the game to actually get biomass. Okay, now that we're here in the Dune Desert, I walked over to an area that has a decent amount of biomass so that we don't have to be struggling too badly with that in the early game. And one thing I'm kind of cautious of is, yep, there you go. The AI of the creatures in Update 6 has been a bit changed, so it's not like they, yeah. And I kind of lay on the easy side, and they changed that to hog remains too. There's some quartz over here. We're gonna want to get this because I don't know if it's actually pushed yet, because they did say some stuff is not gonna be in the initial, and I haven't actually viewed exactly what it is, but the Blade Runners have been moved to quartz, the quartz tree in the MAM. I'm pretty sure, which just means we just need to get some quartz. But above that, let's get some iron stuff set up, and I'll actually place the hub set up, and we'll tap into that iron node. There are some impure iron nodes around here that would be really good for nice, efficient, clean starter factories. Yeah, some of the audio's not going. Interesting. Okay, so let's. Oh. What was that? I don't know if y'all heard that, but we also have, oh, that's the hub being built. Okay. In field research, we actually have the map being unlocked a lot earlier than normal, as well as beacons are still thing, likely be removed because if you have the map, you can just mark stuff on the map. We do want to get the MAM, but we also want to get base building and logistics. I think logistics over base building. So let's just go up here. I think this node is impure. Normal. Okay, so it doesn't really matter all too much now. Yeah, I need to... I don't know what's wrong with the audio. The audio is a bit buggy. This is an experimental build. I'm pretty sure it's the... Okay. These things are a lot more annoying, but I guess I just haven't got used to it yet. That does look like an iron node. There's also one over there. This one looks easier to access. So let's just get some... Oh, there's Caterium here too. Okay. So I'm just gonna mine this and start up a little tiny iron factory, and I will cut to when I'm done with that. So I got a little iron factory set up here. I realized I didn't actually grab any biomass while I was over there, so it's not actually functional, but this is producing on an impure node 30 per minute, going to 30 per minute, going into 30 per minute. So it's a nice little clean factory. It means that miner is going to be running constantly, which is good for keeping the power graph all consistent, where you might be able to argue that it would be better to have a miner running on a node and turning off and on again. And to be fair, that is true. It would actually be faster, or not faster. It would be more power efficient. It turning off and on, it would produce the same amount and all that stuff. But anyway, I just like the nice clean power graph, especially at the beginning. I don't have to worry about excess ore when I go and deconstruct that eventually, which I definitely will be doing. I won't have to deal with a bunch of ore. It'd be kind of annoying. So I'm just going to walk around and grab some biomass. Do we actually have the actual biomass. We do have the actual biomass recipe. So I want to get the iron set up, and also I believe that there is a limestone node nearby. Yeah, right there. Okay. So in addition to that, I also want to get concrete set up so we can start getting more organized factories, more permanent factories. Yeah. So pretty much I'm going to be collecting biomass and going back, setting up our iron factory, and I will do a cut. This water's... I think they're doing some changes to water. I don't know. Anyway, I'll be back. Okay, now that we have around 1200 biomass, we can start to be producing things. I kind of want to set up a little concrete factory over there at the limestone deposit, so that we can get some idle concrete going. It does take extra power, but it shouldn't take that much. I don't actually remember the purity of that, the specific node. I'm just going to keep collecting along the shoreline here. But, might set up a little concrete factory too, so. So this limestone node over here is actually an impure limestone node, which means it only makes 30 per minute, which means that this is going to be turning off and on. We don't have access to underclocking yet, so it's just going to be turning off and on, making the power graph a little weird, but we'll be making around, I believe, let's see, we're making 10 concrete per minute, which is kind of bad, but it's starting off, and we need anything that we can get. I'm just going to expand the power out a little bit. I am running it like this instead of going to the hub over there, because there is this this copper node here, which is also impure. Impure nodes in the very early game are still acceptable because you don't actually have the resources, specifically the logistics, to actually handle that. And speaking of copper, I actually need some wire because I do not have enough wire. Anyway, I'm going to collect this, get the factories running, and then I will be back. Okay, I am back. I have run all the cables so that we have our limestone and our iron setups. I actually do need to make a second biomass burner, and that's mainly because this, while it's only taking 22, I'm going to build this copper thing and it's going to need more. So I might as well expand it out. So I'm going to, let's just get this running to begin with. Let's get some biomass in there. Get the factory all going up. This is producing iron plates. I am going to find another impure node. I think there's one over there. No, it's not iron. Oh, I scanned limestone. Are you iron? There is one right there, but I'm pretty sure that's a pure node, but look at that. That's making iron plates. We have concrete being made all the way over there. So yeah, I'm going to do a little bit more work. Probably build that copper factory, set up an iron rod thing, and I will be back. Oh, we got a first power shutdown, mainly because of this unfortunate iron production here. It kicked on too much power. We went over our capacity. We actually got a little email apparently, so let's see what this is. Fuse has been triggered. Yeah, okay, cool. I thought that was something new. That is not. So pretty much what that boils down to is we need to make more biomass burners, which to do that I'm going to I'm gonna need to set this up a little bit. We're gonna need to mine more iron because as it stands, we have some plates, we have some iron ingots, but I do need to do some manual crafting. Unfortunately, I was trying to avoid that a little bit, but it's fine. It's fine. We can make another biomass burner once we get 15 of these rods, and then we can start to make a entirely new little wire factory. And at that point, we'll have rods, plates, and wire automated, and concrete. So we're moving pretty fast through this early stages. I did skip onboarding, so that's a big help. Anyway, I'm going to do a little bit more manual crafting, and I will cut back once I have some more stuff done. Okay, so I am back. This night sky looks a lot better in this update, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what it looked like before, but I know it didn't look like that. Anyway, I moved the MAM over here. Not the MAM, the hub. I moved the hub over here because this area is definitely very spread out, and I didn't want to have to walk all the way over there. So I just kind of moved it over here, even though we aren't able to really unlock any of this stuff quite yet. We're still waiting on a bunch of production. I am going to say that I like how far we've gotten in this little short amount of time. We have, let me just top these up. We have set up a iron plate production line that is producing at a 100% efficient pace. We also have over here, like I said, very spread out area, so it takes a while to get to everything. We have a iron rod production line, which is at kind of half efficiency because this constructor can only take 15, this outputs 30. So once we get logistics, we can kind of speed that up a little bit. Anyway, and we have our iron plates, our iron rods. We just set up wire, so wire is also running at half efficiency due to the constructor also taking only 15. If we go over here a little bit further, we have our limestone node, which is producing 10 concrete per minute, which isn't a lot, but it's definitely not zero. So just having all this stuff idling for us is helping a lot. I don't use these biomass burners. They're actually combined. They're the same as one biomass burner. They only produce actually, they produce 20 megawatts, so they're like a little bit more than a single biomass burner. I don't know their burn rate, but I just use the normal ones. You can see we do have some power graph dips, which is kind of just how that goes, so you can't really avoid that any. I'll just bridge this out and build that there. And then fuel this one up, so we have a little bit more of a slow burn. Anyway, I have been playing for about 30 minutes so far in this world, and we have automated iron plates, iron rods, wire, and concrete, which is all the essentials in the early game. I don't really have the ability to speed any of this up, of course, because of the limitations of not having this unlocked, so I think what I'm going to do is sit here and craft wire and wait on all the production lines, and I will come back once we have logistics unlocked. Okay, I have finally gathered all of the materials that are needed to get logistics. We can just go and hit that nice button. Love that every time.
Milestone reached.
And now we can focus on.
Merge, split, and lift to increase
thank you, Ada. We could probably focus more on our base building. Now the base building also needs concrete, iron plates, iron rods, but all that stuff isn't really an issue. But we can upgrade our production a little bit. Alright, I believe that makes it finished. This is the ugliest factory I have ever built, without a doubt. But with that, it should be complete. Okay, so I'll just do a run through this real quick if you're new. 60 per minute coming out of the miner, being split up two ways so that this is getting 30 and this is getting 30. This and one of these outputs 30, sends it all the way up here to this constructor, which is taking 30 per minute, and that's a nice even number. And I have that being sent straight into a box. Now, the other constructor that is also the other smelter that is also outputting 30 is going into two separate belts that is going into a iron rod factory that is producing two extra things. Now, if you're wondering why I moved it all over here, it's simple. This factory is producing the same amount of iron plates and okay. Thanks, Ada. It's producing the same amount of iron plates and double the amount of iron rods for actually one less megawatt. Now, how does that really make any sense? If it's producing double of one item, how is it cheaper in power? We went from 2 miners to 1 miner, which saves 5 megawatts, and the additional constructor is only 4 megawatts, which means we do actually save a megawatt while increasing our production rate, which I think is very good. Now, we can go over to our concrete and pick up the remaining concrete, and we can go check our storages, see how much iron plates, iron rods, and concrete we actually have. See about getting base building unlocked. So I will do a cut, and I will probably be remaking a factory when I am back. Okay, I am back, and we have all of the things that we need to do this. Now, I'm actually realizing that my audio has probably been a bit bad for the rest of this video. Probably been a lot quiet. I'm going to turn down that audio. I'm sorry if you couldn't really hear me very well for the past little bit. Anyway, I'm just going to pick up all these miners because they do not enough space. Yep, of course. Early game inventory is definitely small, so we don't need sulfur, we don't need this, we don't need that, we don't need this. Probably get rid of that and be fine. Don't need any of this copper ore. Okay. Or these, and I'll keep the ironing, it's just in case. Anyway, so now that we have base building unlocked, we can make foundations. Now, foundations need iron plates and concrete, which means we're going to need to wait a little bit for our iron plate supply to get a little bit more. It looks like it's already at like a few iron plates. How's our concrete doing? Concrete is doing very well. Now, I think one of the first things I want to do is make this concrete factory a little bit faster. Now, is there another limestone? There is another limestone node nearby, I believe. There's that one, of course, and I think there's one. Yes. It is slightly more isolated, but I do believe the purity is higher. Just gonna go grab that power slug. Anyway, I'm gonna build a small little concrete factory since we're gonna need a lot more concrete than just 10 per minute, and I will be back. Okay, we now have a setup that doubles our concrete production. It is not powered on yet because I haven't actually run the power line, so let's just run that. But yeah, so we will now have, I guess, we can keep, no, I don't think I'll keep the, I'll keep it on. I was debating getting rid of the old one. I think what I will do is I will turn it off And then once we actually have underclocking, I will turn it back on underclocked to be the to be at the power level that it is actually able to run at. So this is turning off and on, and then that is also turning off and on, which is really inefficient because you still need to be able to carry this max consumption of 60 watts, because everything could, in theory, you might be able to sit below 60 watts the whole time, but all you have to do is one little spike, one little syncing of all the times, and things can go bad really quickly. But anyway, let's fix up this copper factory, shall we? And just like that, we have our first semi-organized factory going. Now this is just to produce some basic copper stuff. We're making 30 copper per minute. Smelting 30 copper per minute. Oop. There we go. Making 60 wire per minute. And then putting 30 of the wire into cable, which is making 15 cable per minute. Now we won't have to manually craft cable. Made this nice little area for biomass burners. I might place down more. But for now, I think it's pretty much worth it. We have a capacity of 90, which is fine for now. I do want to upgrade the iron to be organized. I want to let it I think I'm going to get up to a certain amount of iron plates, and then I'm going to do it. I'm going to upgrade the iron. I think I want to make a little screw factory first, though, because we do actually need screws for a lot of these. I mean, a lot of them, especially for when we make some other stuff. So I'm going to go make a little screw factory at one of our old impure iron nodes over there, this one. We'll make a little screw factory, and I will be right back. Okay, I am back, and we now have a screw factory. So this screw factory produces 120 screws per minute, and since we don't have a logistics mark II, I have it going into 2 separate containers. But anyway, it's not too much of an inconvenience. We have, just to do a little rundown, we have 30 per minute coming from the ground, going into a smelter, which I don't even know why there's a splitter here. Honestly, I have no idea why there's a splitter here. There is now not a splitter there. Okay. So it's going into a smelter here. It's smelting 30 per minute. That is being split up between 15 and 15 for iron rods. I don't have the cast screw recipe. I don't know that it would really be useful for this. It would just save, I guess it would save a boatload of space, to be honest, but anyway, cast screw recipe aside. We have a 10 per minute, 10 per minute, and 10 per minute per constructor over here. Since we have 30 coming out of here. Let's just split, run up a little bit because there was a little bit of terrain that was poking out, so we had to go up a little bit. We are producing 120 screws per minute, which should be pretty good for what we need it for. We should be able to build up a nice stockpile up pretty soon. We actually now need 100 megawatts of power for our whole operation here, which is a fair amount. That takes up a fair amount. Once we get into reinforced iron plates, that'll jump up again. But anyway, for now we have our biomass burners. They are actually out of biomass. Anyway, I need to let's work on getting our field research done. So dump that in there. I need some iron plates, which we have some iron plates. I would redo this iron factory, but I really don't need to yet, so I'm just going to leave it. Once we have logistics mark II, I'm going to work on a reinforced iron plate factory, I think. I think this iron factory is going to stay here, and it's going to be our nice little mainstay. I might even underclock the screws if we just fill up, or like we have a ton of them, right? Or I might just shut it off entirely once we start not needing them as much. Because 120 per minute's a bit wild, I'm gonna be honest. That we can actually get that amount. Anyway, so we just need to go grab some screws. If it's been, I think, probably like a little under 3 minutes, we should have screws. I'm gonna put some, doesn't look as good, but I'll put some ramps here so we can get up to our screws, and looks like we have enough screws, which is all good, all good. Yeah, I don't really like that there. I think I like the look of the plate face better. Anyway, we'll be able to go over here and complete the field research. Buttons in this game feel so good. New email, of course. A bunch of milestones, whatever. We also have tier 1 complete, and we can move on to tier 2. Tier 2 is part assembly, obstacle clearing, jump pads. We don't really need jump pads. Resource sync program. We can get the colorizer, make our stuff look all pretty, and logistics mark 2. Now, I can set up a reinforced iron plate factory without logistics mark 2, and I think I might actually do that. Just so that I don't have to manually craft 50 of these, but for that we do need the assembler. So I'm just going to select the milestone, and we can start, I guess, I would say, I say start, but we kind of just have to wait. We kind of just have to wait at this point on our production lines. We have enough cable, we have enough iron rods, but we need more plates, we need more screws. So I'm going to do a cut, and I will be back once we have all of our stuff made. So I was over here collecting biomass while I wait for all that stuff, and I noticed these waterfalls look so good. Like, the waterfalls in the past have looked fine from a distance, but like up close they kind of fell apart because they were kind of just a texture, but these look really good. I don't know if they actually changed anything about them. It looks like they're kinda, yeah. Yeah, they're definitely changed something about those, so those look really good. I'm gonna keep waiting on the factory. I just thought I'd point that out. Cool little change to waterfalls, I guess. While we wait for our iron plates to be made, let's look at the MAM a little bit. Now the MAM has gotten a little bit of changes to it. I think let's just research this. This is probably one of the better things to get out of the way now. At least I think the MAM has the changes pushed. Oh, so this is changed. You actually need a power shard. So slug scanning, you don't need one. I guess we can just do that for free pretty much. Okay, so I see. It's a little bit more expensive. This used to be just a yellow power slug. I guess that's to kind of gatekeep it a little bit. Can't sulfur, quartz. I'm gonna go grab my sulfur and quartz and caterium and stuff so we can start doing some surface level research, as well as my slugs. I'll make a power shard. Why not? Sulfur. Let's just research that so we can scan for sulfur. There is some new nobelisks. That's what's over here. You can also see that there is the Noblisk detonator. The Noblisk has a different texture. Hand slot, all this stuff. I can't really do anything about this. Quartz though, there is some quartz, not super far away from here, but there it is. The Blade Runners. Now, Blade Runners, we can actually get fairly soon. There's also different types of rebar. Shatter rebar is a thing, but new shop products I'm pretty sure is the lights, but it's also really good that it just shows it in there. I'm gonna research silica. I don't really know why, but I just did. Sulfur, caterium, we can also research that a little bit to get caterium scanning. We can see that there is stun rebar. I think they definitely, with the enhancements to AI, they thought about that enemies are going to be a lot harder. Something I also noticed is that there is different types of things. There's stingers, hatchers, which are the kind of revamped versions of those little tiny flying bug thingies that are rather annoying. Anyway, there's also organic data capsule. I have no idea what this does, but I think alien protein is a thing that does something. Not exactly sure what. I don't know if it's a food or something, but it can kind of consolidate all of your stuff down to a single thing. I have no stingers or spitters, so we'll kind of get there when we get there. Alright, I waited a little bit and we should have enough. Yep. We have enough of our iron plates. We actually have so much that we should be able to just get our overclock slash underclock, which has a little bit of a change. So underclocking has been nerfed and overclocking has been buffed. It's changed to be linear. At least I'm pretty sure it's changed to be linear so far. Anyway, we now have part assembly. Just gonna go and change this so that we're at 50%, because this is only running at 50% anyway. So actually this is a good example to look at. So this is now this normal constructor running at 100%, consuming 4 megawatts of power, whereas this one is consuming 1.3, which means the changes have not gone through yet, which is interesting. We should see that go through eventually, so where this is consuming 2 megawatts of power. At least I think so. I don't know. I mean, we're in experimental, so anything can happen. But now that we have the assembler, we need to make a little starter reinforced iron plate factory. I'm not going to use Not gonna make a really insane one. Part of the reason behind that is just not needing the power, I guess. Reality is we need 50 rotors and 50 reinforced iron plates to actually get the space elevator. Now this is something new, the nutritional processor. Let's just see what this is about. I have no idea what it is, but we can't get it till we have steel, so. I think what I want to do is set up reinforced iron plates. And where do I want to do that? I want to do it on a normal node, but this one's taken. Which means I need to scan for some iron ore. There's iron there, there's iron there. I need a normal iron node. Why are you gone? Interesting. Anyway. I will find a normal iron node and I will cut back. Alrighty, I actually found a pure iron node that isn't too far away. It's just our base is just over there. I'm just gonna underclock the miner. And then we can replace it later with a better factory. So I think I actually need to do something. I need to build this area up because it's kind of in a little dip here. So I'm gonna actually place the miner. I think I want to place it this way and we're gonna build that way. Actually, we'll do that. So I want to place this miner down, but I want to place it so that it's aligned properly. So let me just do this. Oop, I don't actually think I need to do that. I just need to place a foundation like here. Now if I place another foundation, place the miner back, where are we at? Good. Okay, so now we have a miner that is on 2 pieces of foundation and is aligned almost perfectly. If it was a little bit further back, it would be perfect, but it is good enough. Now this is actually outputting 120. We only want 60. We don't actually have Logistics Mark II. Speaking of Logistics Mark II, we should probably get around to doing that. But anyway, let's just work on this factory. I actually think that this shouldn't be too bad of a factory, given I think it's only one. I think it comes out neatly to 1 constructor, but I'm not entirely sure. But regardless, I think I'm gonna just build a nice little platform here and see where we end up. And I will see you later. Alrighty, I have the reinforced iron plate starter factory all up and done. There's only one problem. Alright, I have the reinforced iron plate starter factory all set up. We have a miner producing 60 parts per minute because it's a Mark 1 belt. 60 items per minute, which will bring that mega wattage down a little bit, not like it matters. Going into 2 smelters. So we have a output of a 60 iron ingots. This gets split up into 30 and 30, where this is split up again into 15 and 15. 15 of it goes into iron rods, and the other 45, because, you know, 15 is added to this line of 30, goes into iron plates. The numbers aren't quite right because this hasn't actually been powered up yet, but essentially I'm throwing, I believe it's just 45 split across 2, which is 22.5 per thing, which is nice because they're a little underclocked, they're a little more power saving. These are being thrown into a merger, which this outputs, I think it's 30 per minute. Yeah, it's 30 per minute. So this is a line of 30 per minute going into this constructor that wants 30 per minute. Now with the other 15 that goes into iron rods, this is split up into 2 constructors, making some nice screws, and this outputs 30 and 30 to make 60, which comes out to 5 reinforced iron plates per minute, which ain't that bad. It's a lot better than 0 reinforced iron plates per minute, but the only problem is we are out of power. Now, we are out of biomass in all capacity, I believe. Yes, every last bit of biomass that we have is gone. I'm hoping I can do one last harvest, collect enough biomass to, 140. So, you know, so that'd be like what? 30 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, 5. We need 5 of these biomass burners to run our whole factory. So I'm gonna go collect enough biomass to power all these, which is gonna end up being quite a lot, to be honest. It's gonna be, I think I need, if it's 200 times 6, 1200 biomass, so 2400 leaves is how much we need, which is quite a lot. So I'm gonna just drop off some stuff that I don't really need, get rid of some stuff, clean out my inventory. I'm gonna go put some of these iron rods away, and yeah, so I'm gonna go collect 2400 leaves slash wood slash whatever it needs to make 1200 biomass, and I will be back. Alrighty, I am back from collecting all that biomass. I actually did lose the audio for this portion, so that's why this is a voiceover as opposed to just commentating. So I think I want to unlock obstacle clearing primarily for that solid biofuel. We'll be able to run on that, since I feel like this is going to take quite a long time to actually get to a point where So I'm just filling up all of these biomass burners so that we can get our factories up and running again. We are producing a nice 180 megawatts. I'm just going to go check on all of our concrete and stuff to cut down on my power. I'm going to actually underclock all my concrete factories, so I need to make sure that they're only producing 10 per minute on each one. Alright, I'm at my second concrete factory over here. Just going to change all these so that they're only producing 10 per minute each, so that the power graph does not need to overcompensate for their production. And I'm just going to grab all this concrete just to be extra careful. Not extra careful, but just while we're over here. It's pretty far away, so save some time by just grabbing it while we can. Alright, now that we're back at the base, let's unlock obstacle clearing since we have all of the required resources, get us some inventory slots, get us some chainsaw and all that stuff, all that nice things. I think I'm actually going to go with the resource sink instead of the obstacle clearing at the moment, just because I think it's just more beneficial, at least in the short term, where we don't really need that chainsaw or any of that biofuel, because we just I mean, we just made a bunch of biomass, so it's not super valuable at the moment. Maybe when we actually need to refill those. We have enough screws to where I can feel pretty safe in shutting this factory off. I do need to reroute the power a little bit, but I feel like this factory does not need to be producing 120 screws per minute, sucking up a bunch of megawatts. Yeah, you can see just how big of a difference that made, just dropping down harshly. And if we do need to get more screws, I can always just turn it back on. Alright, let's go check on our reinforced iron plate factory and see how many we have. We have a few in here. Let's just grab those and go walk away and go see about automating rotors. Now, I'm going to automate rotors instead of manually crafting them for the space elevator, just because I don't want to be lazy about it, and I want to just actually build factories, because this is a game about building factories. So I'm going to do a little bit of research into actually constructing the rotor factory, and I'm going to build an assembler so that we can actually see the production rates of things and get everything worked out. I do think we're going to need Logistics Mark II, so I will cut back to when I actually have Logistics Mark II. Alright, after waiting a little bit, we now have enough reinforced iron plates to upgrade to Logistics Mark II. Okay, now we have access to tier 2 conveyor belts. Now we got to figure out how to automate rotors. Now, if we look at the actual resource cost of a single rotor assembler, right? Iron rods are 1 iron ingot per rod, and screws are 4 screws per rod. So 100. So it's basically 25 and 20. So what it comes out to is we have 45 per assembler. Now this is kind of weird because 120 over 45 is not an even number. Now we kind of need to step back a little bit because we know that we have an assembler here. The issue with this assembler producing rotors is that it doesn't come out evenly. We would need 2 2/3 assemblers. So we kind of have to take a step back, saying we can't evenly work this out. Now what we can do is we can look a little bit further down the line. So 20, let's look at the screws, because the screws I feel like are going to be the hardest to fit. So screws, we produce 40 per minute, and this is 100, which doesn't exactly go evenly, right? So I think what we need to do is kind of assess how many of everything we need to make. So I think we should go for an input of 60. An input of 60 iron per minute. Since this is 45, we need 15. So that means it would be 45 plus 15, so 15 over 45. 15 over 45 is 0.3. So we need 1 1/3 assembler. 1 1/3 assembler, essentially. 1 1/3 assembler is also the equivalent to, so like 1 plus 1/3, 1.333. So if I go 2/3 plus 2/3, this is also 1 1/3. So to save power and to possibly ease production a little bit and be able to load balance, let's have 2 2/3 clocked assemblers. Now if we I'll just jot that down on a notepad real quick. 2 2/3 assemblers. And that means let's do 20 times 2/3. 13.33333 per thing. These numbers are not looking out good, but they should be saved, I think. The reason I'm doing 60, an input of 60, is because that is a pure node. I am simply going to split the output of that, clock it to 100, and we're off to the races. So, anyway, so 20 times 2/3 times 2/3, and we'll multiply this by 2, which means we need 26 2/3 iron rods, which means we need 2 constructors making iron rods. So 26 2/3, and then the rest we can dump into screws. Now 60 minus 26 plus 2/3 is this. It's this number. Now if we multiply this by 4, we get 138 2/3. Now 100 times 1 plus 1/3, 133.3333. So I don't actually know if this is quite right. So let's see. We know. I'm gonna do a little bit more thinking on this, and then I will be right back. Alright, I think I have figured everything out. Now I'm just gonna show a notepad window here. So pretty much, let's just make this a little bigger for you guys. So pretty much we have one assembler. This assembler is, oh no. This is a full assembler. Now, this is a full assembler running at full speed. This assembler is going to take 20 iron rods and 100 screws per minute, which is going to take 20 iron ingots and 25 iron ingots per minute. This means it's a total of 45. Now, since we have an input of 60, we need 15 iron ingots to go to somewhere else, which happens to be 1/3 of an assembler, which takes 6 2/3 iron rods and 33 1/3 screws. Now this all works out to 60 total, which is good. Now these numbers are not nice, which is why we're gonna kind of ignore them and use manifolds. Now what we can do with manifolds is essentially any items that are left over will just sort into place. They are not as clean as load balanced systems, such as all of the ones that I have built in this playthrough so far. However, it's kind of the only option in this case to where we can have a nice clean factory. Now, I'm sure there's probably some way I could do it a little bit neater, but I honestly don't really mind it too much. It just increases the startup time of the whole system, which I think is fine. I'm going to build this right next to this other factory because I can simply just cut this off, put a splitter here, send it there, keep this clocked at half, and kind of just start going again. So I am going to just work on this factory, and I'm going to just do a cut once I'm done, and I'll go through and kind of explain the way that I laid it out. I don't think I'm going to be able to lay it out quite as neatly as the other one, just because it's probably going to be a bit uglier as far as all of the belting and stuff. So I'm going to do a cut, and I will be back. Okay, I'm gonna come back from a short little intermission. I realized that My life would be a whole lot easier if I had the cast screw recipe. So I'm gonna go on a little bit of a adventure. Now, I really wish I had the Blade Runners to go, to actually be able to go hard drive hunting, but I just don't. So I'm gonna go get a hard drive, hoping for cast screws. I might get a few actually, and I'm gonna cut to when I get to one, because let me just pull up that recipe real quick. Yeah, so the cast screw recipe produces 50 screws per minute. So the amount of screws we need per minute is actually a little bit under 150, which means we would need 3 constructors, which sounds like a lot, but as opposed to the ton more, like ton more. So we would need, let's see, so there's a total of 8, there's like 33 and some change, which means we would need 3 constructors for iron rods alone, let alone crafting those rods into screws, which is even more than 3. So we save on the screws and we save on that. And are you kidding me? Yup. At least this has got more of them. I was really hoping that that would have lasted longer. It's probably like, yep, it's all gone. Yeah, so I'm gonna be back. I'll have to be back. I just need to go get some biomass, as well as get some hard drives and stuff. So I will be back once I have some hard drives. Alright, I'm at the first drop pod, and I'm gonna go grab some stuff actually. We can grab some of these modular frames, some of these motors. I don't really need the screws, some iron plates, modular frames, all of this cool stuff. This is actually an interesting drop pod. It's in a cave somehow. We're gonna use those modular frames actually pretty soon. This one doesn't even have a save. This one doesn't even have a requirement for it, so that's pretty nice. Let's just plop down the NAM, scan it real quick, and we will go to our next drop pod. Is there one kind of nearby? No, the nearest one is the other direction, so I'm just gonna go back to the hub and probably just wait for that recipe, and we'll go from there. We have arrived at the second crash site. Curiously, crash sites don't seem to have enemies at them. 10 rotors. That's pretty easy. Okay, we made 10 rotors. Get the hard drive out. Open the MAM. Oh, okay, we got cast screw right early. I'm gonna actually still research, because I do want iron wire and stitched iron plate. Those are 2 recipes that I do want to get. Alright, we're coming up on our 3rd crash site. Just check some MAM progress. It's still at 10. Still at 10. I just want to get stitched iron plate as well as iron wire, because I have a design for a design kind of thought for something that can take advantage of that and produce a fair amount of stuff. We're running low on inventory space, unfortunately, so I do want to pick up these modular frames so I can get rid of some screws. Get the modular frames. Can I even open this? 50 megawatts. Well, thankfully that's pretty easy to do. throw some, I'll use the flower petals. Throw some of this in there. Power it. And we're all good again. I will admit that that's a bit cheap. I do feel like that should be adjusted a little bit. Just I guess you have to bring the resources to be able to like pull that off, I guess, but still. Alrighty, now that we have our hard drive going, and we have this over here, we actually have cast screws now. So if I go and make one of these, we have cast screw. Now this takes 12.5 per minute to make 50 screws, which doesn't really matter. So we actually need, since we're doing a manifold, it really doesn't change much. So essentially we are trying to make 100 plus 33 plus 1/3 screws. Now the 1/3 probably doesn't matter for this, but if we make, we need three constructors making screws. Now I think we have to put that over here. Whoop, unfortunately, due to, I guess, just space, right? So I'm gonna place this to make a center line, and yeah, so we just need to place these three. Oops. All of these 50, 50, and then this can produce at 33. Actually, no, this can produce 33 plus 1/3. 33.33, yeah, so speed at 2/3. And since this is a manifold, we just need to extend it, so I'll do that. Boom, boom. And this is kind of annoying, but I guess here. Oop. Oh, barely can make it nice. Okay. So this, however, this can go and do this, and do that, and all of these we can just get plumbed up, as well as, MAM research complete. We're hoping for either iron wire or stitched iron plates. Bolted iron plates, cheap silica, fine concrete. Oof. Bolted iron plate is just faster production rate with worse pretty much everything, but both of these are also very useless, so I'm just gonna go for that and research the last hard drive. And, which means if we do want to go for our setup of stitched iron plates with iron wire, we will need to go hunting a little bit more, which isn't exactly too bad. Hard drive hunting isn't difficult, it's just time consuming, which this game is very time consuming in itself, so I guess that doesn't really matter. 50 screws, 33.3 screws. Now, these screws being the way they are is actually very convenient. We don't need to manifold the screws because we just merge these two and then send that into the other one. The iron rods, however, do need to. So let's get this going. So I'm just gonna let's just make this even out here. Okay. So I know that these need merged, so we need to merge. We're gonna have the screws on the bottom floor. So the screws being on the bottom floor means that this is going to be our assembler. Put it in line with the other one, but it doesn't really need to be, so I will just put a marker down and slide our assembler on it. So this being like this, we will need to put our conveyor lifts for the manifold here. And I think our splitters need to be, yeah, so there's one splitter. We can put the lift there. This will be our full capacity rotor, and this needs to be a Mark II belt since there's 100 screws going through it. But this other one can go next to it, which we need more rotors. I'm gonna finish this all up and I will be back. Okay, so we're almost done with the construction of this. I just need to merge these two lines and send this over here. So I'm going to, this is going to go here, which means I'm pretty sure the lift needs to go, well, needs to not attach to this merger. Cool. And I can place back the merger. So now that this is all together, and I can grab you, I'll just put it, I'll put the power line here, and it'll just attach to both of these, and then I'll run it back to here, I believe it is. Yep. So now this all should have power, and we should be making, what's 4 over 3? So it should be 4 plus 4 over 3, 5.3 rotors per minute, which is more than we have of reinforced iron plates, which is nice, I guess. It's not really useful, but oh well. And what I could do is I could just throw this into smart plating, but I think I'm gonna have it separated for the moment being. Now the issue is we're now have a pretty high max consumption because all of this is, I believe, wired together. Actually, it's not wired together yet. It needs to be, so that means I'm going to take this out to here. Yeah, to here. And wire it together. Now that brings our maximum consumption to 156. I don't know if that's right, I don't know if that's wrong, but it's a lot. Alright, I figured out the issue with the power. It is that we just don't have any fuel. So I'm going to put all my stuff away and go and harvest another bunch of stuff. I might, yeah, okay, so let's buy obstacle clearing real quick. I just have to go grab some screws from our 4,000 over there. Ooh, ma'am. Let's see what we get. Iron wire and stitch. I should just get both. No, I'm gonna get iron wire over stitched iron plate. I do need both, but you know. Anyway, we can go by obstacle clearing.
Milestone reached.
Okay.
Biofuel will ensure maximum efficiency.
Yeah, I'm gonna put some of my. I need actually to grab some rods. I'm gonna grab a stack of rods.
Removing foliage that consists primarily of wood.
Grab some plates. We did get some more inventory space, but let's just go over here. Let's put away our slugs. Put away any caterium, any or any flowers. We can probably get rid of some of this wire. Put some of it back. We really don't need any of it, but you know, don't need these. Yeah, so this should be bare bones. Let's go and actually, you know what? Let's make a chainsaw. Okay, and use the remaining biomass that I have in my inventory. Make some solid biofuel. I do need solid biofuel is another, yeah, okay, so it's just another layer of compression. I guess I just go for 6 stacks of solid biofuel. I mean, I'm going to make a production line to change from wood and biomass and wood and leaves to biofuel. At this point, it's worth it. I'll have it running on its own separate thing so we don't have to turn on the whole power grid. Okay, I am back and I have enough resources to actually make this, but I want to just set up like a constructor and stuff to start speeding this up a little bit. So if I set this to biomass leaves, takes in 100, output 60. What does this do? If I put solid biofuel, takes in 120, output 60. Okay, so what about wood? Output 300. Okay. Well, this seems pretty dead simple then. I underclock. Here, let's you know what? I'm doing this right. Foundations. Now I think we should be all good. I'm going to merger here, here, here. We can get rid of all these. We don't need them. And I think I can just put a merger here. Does this output 120? Output 60. This output 60. Oh, we don't actually have enough. This would be 60 and 60 alone, so no. This needs to go into its own thing. So we'll just have 2 storage containers. One for you, one for you. Now that we have that, we can place a biomass burner here just to save this little jet out spot. We can tie it into here and throw some of our solid biofuel in here, and it should sort of like self-replicate. So I'm just gonna wait for this to run. Alrighty, so we have all of our biofuel. There's still some being made we collected a little bit extra. But pretty much while I was waiting, I redid our little iron thingy here, so I found that we had too many rods and not enough plates. So what I did is I essentially allocated a little bit more to, like an extra 15, so instead of half and half, it's now 75% and 25% since we have too many rods and not enough plates. So that's pretty much how that's gonna go. I'm gonna go turn all my power back on again. Boom. 180 capacity, 156 max consumption. We're going. All of the factories are up. That's up and running. That over there is up and running. I just realized that we used to not be able to see that over there, and now we can see it perfectly fine. Yeah, we need coal power. We'll just build it here. I've built the setup for constructing all of the smart plating, so this isn't exactly 100% efficient because obviously I don't have the resources to pump to make, what is that, like pretty much all of it in a minute, right? Pretty much all you gotta do is just stick the stuff in and it all evenly distributes. Alright, now that I have all of the components, I'm ready to throw it all into these two bins here, so I can put 50 plates and 50 rotors. They're on their journey. Alrighty, we are back and we have our 50 smart plating. Ready to chuck it in the space elevator to complete phase 1 of project assembly. Chuck the smart plating in, drag that lever, get it to seal, Oh, I just love how like, I like the tactility of that lever, even though it's just dragging a mouse, you know? You can feel it. Watch it go. And there we go. It's a bit of a cool glitch right there with the light. Oh well. Anyway, phase 1 is complete. I'll leave it there. It's not blocking anything. Anyway, that is amazing. Now what's even more amazing is that we now have access to coal power. I'm gonna leave that for the next episode. We're gonna get coal power. We're gonna probably get into steel. There's no way I'm gonna be able to complete all of phase 2 in the next episode. I really pushed to get phase 1 done in this one. Phase 1 is complete. Phase 2 will happen in the next episode, as well as getting myself a pair of Blade Runners, getting some stuff done in the Awesome Sink. All those wonderful things will be done in the next episode. And that's it. See ya.